United States Highway 11. Yeah. Alright, US 11 is a north-south road, of which in Pennsylvania travels up from Antrim Township up to Great Bend Township. It meets with other roads along the way, 81 a bunch of times, and goes past Harrisburg and through Scranton. Alright, so first we are going to talk about northbound US 11 in Pennsylvania. We got a lot of stuff under the Welcome to Pennsylvania sign: Franklin County, Antrim Township, and the village of State Line. And we can also see that there is a route to one of the interchanges to I-81, the first one in Pennsylvania, / Maryland. Hey, I got tricked. The sidewalk leads directly to the Welcome Center, and I can't even access it since it's gated off, possibly locked. This is the Welcome Center along northbound I-81. Just halfway between State Line and Greencastle, we get the signage for both of those towns. I mean, you could go further, but Greencastle is kinda sizable. If you're an elevator enthusiast like me, here in Greencastle you can spot an office building holding the Alliance Elevator Solutions. If you've watched my elevators at all Menard stores in Metro Detroit video, then you would have seen 2 Alliance elevators in 2 clips. At this point now we're signed for Chambersburg, but strangely State Line for southbound is now skipped and goes straight to Hagerstown. Strange. This is what downtown Chambersburg looks like. Nice colorful buildings. At this point now we're signed for Shippensburg, which is not too far away. Maybe you could go with something different, but I don't know. After Shippensburg, we're now signed for Carlisle. Well, I mean, that's kinda sizable. And we're going straight to the town anyway. Here in downtown Carlisle, we'll now turn left to continue on. Here we meet with I-76, the turnpike, and we don't actually get any signage heading northbound for it. But of course, it is signed for Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Now we actually met with I-81 in the beginning, near Greencastle, but I didn't show that to you since there was no signage. But here is our second meeting of I-81, and now it's signed north for Harrisburg, and we're actually quite close to Harrisburg, so maybe go Scranton. And of course, the ultimate insult, Chambersburg. No, absolutely not. This should very well be like Hagerstown or Roanoke or whatever, but not Chambersburg. And also for the Harrisburg sign, we get that exit 1/8 of a mile, which is like the shortest distance you can get for any exit ramp. At our next sign, we meet with PA 581, which is another freeway, and we get Camp Hill and Harrisburg. Harrisburg's fine, but Camp Hill is where 11 is going. We need something else there. And PA 581 West is signed for 2 I-81. Ultimately, that is fine because you should not show the horrible control cities for 81 on there. We now meet with US 15 and will be concurrent for a while. Signed for Camp Hill. Why? Why Camp Hill? Something else, please. And Gettysburg for South. I know that's a historic place. I think it works. And later on, PA 581 is going to meet with 83, and it's signed north for Harrisburg, but why? It's literally east of Harrisburg at this point, so you're going to want to take 81's control city, but that would be Hazleton. So you're going to have to change that to Scranton for that one. But it's also signed south for York. I don't know about York. It's decently sizable, but Baltimore. Afterwards, we are signed for Marysville. Okay, Marysville, how about Duncannon? Duncannon's better, I think. And the exit to the left leads directly into downtown Harrisburg. Absolutely ridiculous control cities all around. 81 for the third time is now Harrisburg, which we're north of Harrisburg now, so you're gonna wanna go Scranton at this point. And 81 South Carlisle, because that's where it meets with the turnpike. Just go Hagerstown or Roanoke, for heaven's sake! Well, it's in Marysville that we're now signed for Duncannon. So that's what I mentioned earlier. In Duncannon, we then get an exit for PA 274 West, but hold on. Duncannon is actually east of here, so 274 West should not be signed for Duncannon. What I think should be done here is that a line should be placed in between PA 274 and Duncannon in order to differentiate them. We meet with US 22 and US 322. They are signed for Lewistown and Harrisburg, which are actually pretty decent this time. Here we get Selinsgrove and Williamsport heading northbound. Williamsport's great for 15 here, and of course, we don't talk about Camp Hill. This is where we get US 522 south for Selinsgrove, but we actually get US 11 and US 15 going north from here on this exit. They're signed for Shamokin Dam, which is where they branch off, but they don't get signed here. The reason why? Continuing this way, we actually get like a ghost freeway construction or if it's not a ghost, then progress is going very slow on it. In Shamokin Dam, 11 and 15 split. And what the heck? 15 was signed for Williamsport just earlier on, but now it's straight back to Lewisburg. Why? And at this point now we get Danville. We now cross the Susquehanna River. It is one of the nice rivers through Pennsylvania. In Danville, we actually get Northumberland, which is not actually a control city that was signed going northbound. And going northbound from here, we now get Bloomsburg. Here is PA 42 northbound, which is going to I-80, and apparently it is taking the control cities of Millville and Buckhorn. That's just PA 42, so thank God I-80's control cities are not on there. And here is what downtown Bloomsburg looks like. Cue the meme. And now we get 11 North Berwick. I mean, that's the next town, and it's slightly as big as Bloomsburg, so that should work for 11. This is the exit for PA 29, which goes to Wilkes-Barre. And now at this point, we're signed for Plymouth. God, there's so many Plymouths in the United States, especially the one where I live in Michigan. Later on, we get Larksville. Larksville, I don't know why we have that. 11 doesn't even go through it. On PA 309, we just get 40 Fort and Kingston, which are the two towns next to this freeway. How about Bloomsburg and Scranton or Pittston? And speaking of Pittston, this is what we got downtown. When we meet with I-81 for the fourth time, we only get a southbound ramp, no northbound ramp. We have now made it into Scranton, and this is the first time we're actually seeing downtown. We almost meet with I-81 here, but we split to the left, northward Clark's Summit. Oh no, not that, because of the interchange. Well, here we are, back at the Clark's Summit interchange. Binghamton, Wilkes-Barre, just I-81's control cities, and that is it. Now, I actually haven't showed you downtown Clark's Summit in the 6th video, but here it is. And finally, US 6 splits off for Tunkhannock. And we are now signed for Nicholson, but the bottom line is Binghamton, so that's fine. Again, we almost meet with I-81, but there is a road that turns off and then meets with it. It's signed for Binghamton and Scranton from here. Fine. And I got tricked again. This is only for employees and deliveries to the southbound 81 Welcome Center. In the distance, we see the Welcome to New York sign, so our stretch of 11 ends in Pennsylvania here. So at this point, it is time to turn around and talk about southbound, US 11. Right off the bat, Pennsylvania loses points for not even welcoming us this time. Meeting with US 6, we now get Scranton as our control city at this point. 6 West is signed for Tunkhannock, but it's also signed for Towanda from here, which it did not get on the other side. And we are back at Clark's Summit with the madness here and I-81's control cities. I didn't show you this before because it didn't show up. We're now as Scranton Expressway. And there's a business route of US 6 I didn't actually know about, so I didn't show you it in the US 6 video. So here it is. Here's another part of downtown Scranton. Here's a part where you can get to I-81, I-84, and I-380. That's actually called the President Biden Expressway, named for our current president. And now we get 11 South Pittston Avenue. How about just Pittston? Here we come to I-81 South for Wilkes-Barre, and now we're signed for 2 PA 502, music. What do cows listen to? Music. Sorry about that. Alright, now we meet with PA 29, and now we don't get any information at all. After Bloomsburg, we then get PA 42 again, north for the same control cities as before, and south for Catawissa. I didn't see that one yet. And now we're signed south for Danville. In Danville, we then get Northumberland. At this point, we meet with US 15, and then now we get Selinsgrove. We're in Selinsgrove, basically, and Lewisburg for northbound 15. We're back at the interchange where the Ghost Road is, and now we get South 1115 Harrisburg, which works, but they don't go through. Meeting with 22 and 322, we only get the westbound ramp this time. They're signed for Lewistown. Harrisburg is now on the mile marker, even though we don't touch it. But Camp Hill certainly should not be on the bottom. There should be something else on there. I-81 here is signed north for Harrisburg, where it should not be since we're north of Harrisburg at this point, and 81 doesn't actually touch it. And we have the 3/8 of a mile distance again. And 81 South, Carlisle because of the turnpike, absolutely not. Hagerstown, Roanoke. I'm fine with 11 being signed for Carlisle because it goes straight through the town, but 581 and 281 put something else on there alongside Carlisle. where 11 branches off, we're now just Carlisle Pike. No control cities, because we're going to Carlisle. Getting back to 81, Harrisburg and Chambersburg. You know what? It's actually 11 that should be signed for Chambersburg from here, besides Carlisle, and not I-81. So you know what to put on there, so do it. I don't know how many memes I have to give you, so... When we meet with the turnpike heading southbound, we do actually get a sign for I-76 for Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Sure, I mentioned Chambersburg earlier for 11, but no, it also has to go through Shippensburg to get there. I really don't know why I said that earlier. At the last intersection with I-81, we don't get any control cities on the exit, but I'm sure here it's Harrisburg and Hagerstown. And Maryland welcomes you, so that's it for this video. I was once again losing my mind on this video, but that's the beauty of this series. So, thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.